Wait, let's go back.
Hi, I'm Reese from Bay Sisters, and today I have Batman here.
Ooh, okay.
You should really put on a costume.
I am. This is like... Oh, I left it, okay.
Well, today my viewers have a few questions.
All right, okay.
The first one is, why do you think bats are so important to the environment?
I think bats are so important to the environment because they play all sorts of different roles in the ecosystem. In Canada, they eat lots of insects. In the tropics, they pollinate plants, they disperse fruit, or they eat blood, so they're lots of fun.
And can you tell my viewers just a bit about bats? What do you think?
Okay, bats are mammals. So as mammals, they give birth to live babies. They feed their babies milk. They are very like us in the sense they usually have just one baby at a time. They can live to be quite old, say over 35 years in the wild. Let's see now. Most bats, or many bats, especially, let's just say most bats use biosonar or echolocation. That is to say, they see with their ears. They can fly. They tend to be small animals, so the very smallest bat is about 2 grams, so it weighs the same as a dime. The very biggest bat weighs about 1,500 grams, so it's the same as 3 pounds of butter, and has a wingspan that's about 2 meters.
Wow. Why do you think the bat houses are really important?
I'm not sure I do, actually. I think bat houses, if we can put up bat houses and bats were actually to move into one, that could be good for bats, especially if there weren't many places to live.
Yeah.
But we find that it's pretty hard to convince some bats to move into bat houses. So I may think they're more important than bats.
Are bats good for plants or any greenery?
In the tropics, plants are very good for plants and greenery. They're important because they often move pollen from one plant to one flower to another. Like a bee or a butterfly. They're also important because they take fruit from one plant, they fly away with it, and of course they drop the seed somewhere else. So yeah, that makes bats important for plants.
Oh, so that's like...
What do you say that bats eat?
If I was asked what Canadian bats eat, I'd say they eat almost entirely insects, or sometimes arthropods such as spiders, right?
Yeah.
If we were having this conversation, say in South America, I would say there's bats that are eating fruit, there's bats that are eating pollen and nectar, there's bats that are eating fish, there's bats that are eating other bats, and there's bats that eat blood. Varieties.
Yeah, variety.
All right, so there's about 1,200 different kinds of bats in the world. There's 19 different kinds of bats in Canada. Ontario has 8 different kinds of bats. The best place in the world to see bats is in Colombia in South America, and they probably have perhaps 250 different varieties of bats.
I have a question. Why are people afraid of them? Where did that come from? Like the blood-sucking bats?
Okay,
Vampires.
all right. You're mixing up 3 lines here. So first of all, I think people are afraid of animals they don't know, that they don't see well. So bats are sort of, what are they? Are they birds or are they bats? Then there are bats that eat blood. These are the so-called vampire bats. There's 3 different kinds. They live in South and Central America. And people tend not to like blood-fleeting animals, right?
Yeah.
So mosquitoes, leeches, bed bugs, vampire bats, right?
Do bats eat like human blood or like insect blood?
Oh, that's a very nice twist. That they're eating insects are also eating insect blood because they don't take the blood out, right? The vampire bats sometimes do eat the blood of people. So a vampire bat has got a big job because vampire bats weigh about 30 grams. They're not very big. They need to get about 2 tablespoons of blood a day, right? Or a night. They tend to get all their blood at one place, so they're one-stop shoppers. Now the problem is, if the bat is trying to get your blood, you've got lots of blood compared to how much the bat needs. He wants to land beside you when you're asleep, because you're not going to just roll up your sleeve for him, right? So he lands beside you, he uses his front teeth and he makes a little cut. Takes a little pit of skin, about 5 millimeters in diameter, and from that it's getting its blood. Now the neat thing is that if you do that, you make that kind of a wound, you only bleed a couple of drops because your body doesn't want you to bleed that much. So vampire bats are fascinating if you're a biologist, but people tend to be unenthusiastic.
Can bats even see like a little tiny bit?
Bats see really well. Yeah, no, but they have eyes. There's 1,200 different kinds of bats. None of them is blind. They all see really well, but they also have biosonar.
Why do people say you're blind as a bat.
Well, now you see. One of the reasons people might think that is that bats are small animals and they have small eyes, and they also prefer to be out at night. So when you put a bat in bright sunlight, it's going to be squinting its eyes shut, and the eyes are already small, so you can't see them. Then you will have heard about echolocation or biosonor. You're going to think they don't need to see.
So that's why they live in a cave?
I think they live in caves when they do, because it's where there's no predators.
Oh.
It's hard for something to catch a bat in the dark.
Have you seen the...
Thank
Well,
you
why not
for
fish?
interviewing.
Okay, you're welcome. Nice question.